Welcome to Conversations with Hannah. We are here at the Haven for the 9th annual Hannah Kane Charity Classic. I am joined by Tournament Director Beth Cassavant, the new Executive Director of SYFS, Andre Bennett, along with my friends Melinda from St. Anne's and Dot Green representing Westboro Food Pantry today. We're very excited to be back together. We're excited to welcome you to the table, Andre. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And in a couple minutes, we'll talk more about what the proceeds of this tournament enable your three organizations to do. But just kind of give everyone a reminder of why we're here. We are here because initially, how many years ago now was it? 21 or 22 years ago, Karen Polito started this tournament with two original beneficiary organizations, Westboro Food Pantry and SYFS. And then after year 10, Matt took it over when he became state rep, and he added St. Anne's in, a place that had been near and dear to him and his family. And after 3 years, we then started it, and this is our 9th year. So we're really excited to be continuing the legacy of this tournament and to be able to help so many people in Shrewsbury and Westboro. This year have our returning presenting sponsor, Howard Grossman Development Group, who is an incredible man, so generous. And this year, actually, Howard is now doing work in Westboro at Bay State Commons. They're doing so. He's always been extremely generous to all three of these agencies, but now also Grossman Development Group is doing great work in Westboro, just like they did at Lakeway Commons in Shrewsbury. So excited to have him. And then we also have returning as our 19th hole reception sponsor, Central One. And first year ever, the tournament doesn't have Dave Lacuier as part of it, who was the head of Central One for so many years, retired last year. But his successor, Devin Lyons, is here and golfing today. So we're grateful for them continuing, and really an incredible number of sponsors this year again.
Yes, as always. Right, and that's a huge credit, I think, to the work that you do to build relationships and also to do good work in the community, so people know when they're sponsoring this tournament that the money is going directly to three really worthy charities. And so I think that speaks volumes about the organization that kind of has been created here.
Well, and it's an all-volunteer organization, so thank you for being the tournament director for 9 years. I was able to serve as 3 years for the tournament director when Matt had it, and I just, we talk about it all the time, how much this day means to us personally, because, again, the money raised is going to support three incredible agencies, but it's also just a great fun day out here on the course.
It is. It is a fun day. I mean, you can probably hear golf balls being hit behind us, and it's beautiful weather. We've been very blessed in our time to have lovely weather on the third Monday of August, and just the people that you get to work with. And even my family knows at this time of year that the doorbell's going to ring a lot because there's people dropping things off for the golf tournament. And I mean, Dot's sitting here at the table with us. She is a rock star when it comes to getting businesses to donate to our raffle and our auction. And, it's everybody pulling together that makes this a success.
It is, and we're really thankful to everyone who's been able to donate. And we have several people who were new donating this year. We just were all at the opening for Cold Harbor Brewing, and they, in their new location, expanded location with a restaurant, and they Dot brought by a great gift basket from there the other day, which is exciting. And then the host committee, again, not only helps with so much of this, but they also each donate gift certificates to area restaurants so that we can put packages together. And it really does, this is really down to a science in terms of pulling this tournament together.
It is.
Which is a lot of fun. Beth and I were texting last night about how even this year it feels even that much easier than it has prior years. So
we made it through a couple of difficult years and different years with COVID, but we've found a way to keep persevering, because we know that at the end it's the charities that really depend on the work that we do, so we always try to find a way to make it make it happen.
And we kept one holdover from the COVID era, which was the hosted beverage cart, which everyone appreciates. So they get much more generous, these golfers, at the end of the day when they're back in after, so we figured this all was a wash in the end for us. But we're also grateful for the Haven and hosting us here, and new ownership this year. But so far, so good.
Yeah,
so,
beautiful course.
Yep, everything looks great out there. So, we talk a lot about the reason why we all do this tournament. And again, it goes back to, Karen's original reason for starting it, which is we had at the time 2 and now 3 amazing organizations that we wanted to support with these funds. And certainly the need over time has only increased, which is sad but true. And as you know, we know there's a lot of need in our communities that a lot of people don't recognize there's need in our communities. And so we also like to have this show every year because we like to remind people that there truly are people struggling in our communities with mental health issues, with family dynamic issues, with lacking enough food to eat. And this year we also have, living in both of our communities, a number of people who have been in the emergency shelter system, families and pregnant women who are homeless and who we've welcomed into our communities. And so the need grows. And this year, for the first time in the 9 years we've done it, we had to increase our prices a bit. Simply to make sure we could continue to donate to the charities at the same level and also cover our costs. And was really grateful we didn't have one sponsor say, no, I'm sorry, I can't. Everyone was like, absolutely, we get it. And you know, the generosity just flows from the community outward. So, and Andre, you are now new at the helm at Shrewsbury Youth and Family Services. I think July 17th was your
my
first
original
day.
start date. Yes. So I'm
welcome. And we had an open house for you that night
and it was
at
beautiful.
SYFS, and you got to meet some folks, some who are here playing today.
Yes.
And I know you were handing out the thank you gift bags this morning, and so I think you got to put a lot of faces and names and meet some people too, which was
absolutely,
great.
Absolutely. And I came in right on the heels of us planning our gala.
Yes.
And so I learned that a number of the individuals that I saw today and met are also great supporters.
They are
supporters of the gala. So
that's very true. I don't think we have one single supporter who only supports this tournament. There's incredible generosity to all of the organizations in many different efforts. So that's a very true. So how is your first month gone?
So the diplomatic response is great. The actual truth is it's been an interesting month so far.
Yeah.
You know, it's a huge transition for everybody that's involved.
Yeah.
I learned I am the last of 5 children for my mom and the only boy.
Yep.
So I grew up in a house with 4 sisters plus 3 cousins that my mom adopted, and they're all female. So 7.
You feel right at home here.
You know, I thought right. I thought, you know, I got my training in walking in stilettos and stuff, but I found that Christine's are some huge ones to fill.
Christine is a huge legacy. She's done incredible work for us.
Absolutely. And just an amazing leadership over the years that she's been there and growing the organization and getting it to this place. It's been fun. It's really been fun, but it's been a huge transition, I have to say, for the team, for myself, and you know, just for the community, getting out there and meeting everyone and kind of articulating my vision for the organization.
Sure.
Yeah.
And tell us what it looks like right now. I know, you know, there's always a waiting list, unfortunately, and you know, it fluctuates in terms of timing, but what is it looking like right now in terms of need?
So our current waiting list is about 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
However, if you can do before 2:30, then the waiting list for that group is about 2 to 3 months. You know, it's very sad. I use the example all the time. If you get a cut and you go to the doctor, you get seen right away, and you know, everyone is on top of you, making sure that you're okay. Yeah. Mental health, unfortunately, is that unsexy, pardon my French, unsexy the stepchild or adoptive child at this point. And so there is great need in our community, but we do not necessarily have the manpower that is needed. You know, clinicians are far and few. I learned through just my own research and reading since I started. There were something like over, 20 some odd people that applied for my job. But there was another position that was posted, a clinician position that was posted. Nobody has applied for it. And it was posted before my position was posted. And so that causes a lot of the need that we have. I got an email this morning from someone that they've called for counseling and they're waiting. And again, we're trying our hardest to alleviate and to shorten that time. But you know, these are crisis times, and coming off of the heels of COVID, and again, I've seen an uptick in terms of you know, the homeless population and the services that are needed for that. So we're doing the best we can, but there's still an overwhelming need that we have.
Absolutely. And, that was recognized at the state level this year. The last few state budgets, I was able to get an earmark for $50,000 for SYFS to help with youth mental health first aid training. This year, Christine and I talked about it, and we decided to just, instead of, because we got a federal grant to help with the youth mental health first aid training, that we would just go for money to help with mental health services, so it could directly impact, and we could add staff, and we were actually able to get that at $75,000 in the state budget, so for this year, which will help. And the town, and certainly one of the other hats that Beth wears is as select board chair, and certainly the town has done a tremendous job increasing the amount of support for SYFS the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we dedicated some of the American Rescue Plan Act funds, almost $675,000, I believe, to SYFS because of what you're talking about with the wait time. But if you can't utilize those dollars to hire someone, then
it's still going to be there.
There's still a wait time.
Absolutely. And I do have to say, from my understanding, that the team has done an amazing job cutting that wait list down. It was over a year. Now it's between 6 and 9 months. But again, a lot of the funding that we get, a lot of the monies that we get, it's for a specific purpose that oftentimes we can't touch because it's program specific. And if I can't if I can't pay someone to execute the program, then the program cannot be executed, which again adds to the wait time that we see, because operational, use of the money is limited or restricted.
Well, we're glad to welcome you here, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
It's these three human service organizations that we support also work closely together in many different ways. Certainly St. Anne's and SYFS has been closely aligned.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I know you know that very well.
Yeah,
Melinda.
yes, it's wonderful, the partnership we have had, and just to be able to call if I need something, or even you'll come down and visit me, see what we do, and just so you know where you can send your clients, just for purely we're food-based now only. But even that little part, just so that people know that they can get food when it's needed. And Jen at SYF has been really helpful with me, and just identifying people that might need help and getting them on the list. Because I am kind of frontline, just like you are, and you, so we can see where the need is and hopefully get them started to where they can get the help that they really deserve and need. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm grateful inheriting, again, such a great program. And I'm grateful to the supporters, Hannah, to your foundation for assisting us over the years. And I'm looking forward to building upon all of the sponsors and funders that we have, because that is what is going to help us to alleviate the great need that we see, and these partnerships continuing with these.
Absolutely.
So.
Oh, yes.
You want to hear? Sure. So tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in Westboro. I know that I've been able to visit the pantry. To me, it's like going to the grocery store. Food pantries are very different, I think, from what people might have in their minds. Making sure that people get the foods that they actually want, instead of just giving them a bag of food that you're deciding is for them. If you want to just talk a little bit about how you use the funds that are raised through this tournament at Westboro Food Pantry.
First of all, Andre mentioned the need in the community. The Westboro Food Pantry started in the mid-'80s with 30 clients. When I left on Thursday, we had just registered number 191. And those amount to almost 500 people. And we're open 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday morning, Thursday evening. And Tuesday has become a real interesting one. It's senior citizens. If you're over 60, you come.
God, that age is horrifying.
It's
really low.
Yeah, right?
In Shrewsbury, it's 62, just to let you know. So, we're 62.
Yeah, we're going 60.
Maybe we
Good for you.
something other than seniors. How about advanced?
You all don't have to worry. None of you have to worry. You have a good 40 years before you get there. So.
Experienced people.
Yes, there you go.
So are you seeing an uptick with the seniors? Because we've just implemented a senior day as well.
Well, one of the things that we did start, we have seniors that are unable to come to the pantry for one reason or another. Some of them injured, some are too ill, some are still frightened of coming out for COVID. And each week they get a shopping list. They fill it out. We have the one from the previous week.
Sure.
We have a team of volunteers that delivers their needs, picks up their new wish list,
Yep.
and we provide it to them. And we now have, I believe it's 29 clients that we deliver to, which is something that I think is just out of this world.
Fabulous.
If we try to deliver and there's no one there to receive it, we do a follow-up visit, like within an hour.
Yeah.
Then we call, and we just keep trying until we get a hold of them to find out, are you okay?
Because it's also a wellness check.
Right.
Sure.
Is there anything else we can do? And the food that we give out, a lot of it comes from donations. Westboro is a very generous town. The fire department, the police department, the post office, all of the schools, the churches, everybody.
The Boy Scouts do a
jumps in.
can drive, don't they?
The
during
Boy
year?
Scouts
Yeah.
do a drive, and WASA, the Westboro Athletic Association, comes in with a major amount of cash.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
in
I
check-
just saw they donated $20,000.
Yes, they
correct?
did.
Yeah, that's
Wonderful.
amazing.
That's me.
to-
Do you give gift cards to the kids, the people as well, sometimes?
We get gift cards at holiday times.
Yeah.
We give them gift cards. If they come in and we see that there's a great need and they're a new client,
Sure.
we will give them a gift card to Stop and Shop or Roach Brothers.
Okay.
And Stop and Shop has been one of our biggest donors as far as food. But when the clients come in, like you mentioned, we're a choice store. It is a little grocery store.
Yeah.
And they come in and everyone, regardless of whether they're new or whether they've been coming for years, they get beef, chicken, eggs, and lately we added milk. In addition to the foods that they take from the shelves. Then they leave there, and that amounts to like 500 bags a week.
Wow.
Then they go to an area where, thanks to Stop and Shop and some of our local farmers, they get fruit, vegetables, and baked goods,
Great.
which are all, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. And these are things that they would not normally be able to have.
Sure. They're very expensive.
Yeah, Melinda, I think also people who are watching might not realize that there is no more thrift shop and that
Yes.
you've totally reimagined the space for the food pantry. And I think it's very similar now where there's this shopping.
Yeah, so right post-COVID, we kind of tried to open our thrift shop. If you didn't know, we had a wonderful thrift shop down there at St. Anne's.
Yes,
It was
you
really
did.
like, it's sort of a travesty. It's gone. But our work is now really blossomed with just serving the food insecure. So that was actually, it was 2021, so it's been plus 2 years. People still come to look for the thrift shop. But what we've changed the thrift shop area into a choice pantry. We are a hybrid because you only get to come down once a month, so it's a little bit of a hybrid situation. But we got some great money from the government, the code for COVID, and got some nice commercial refrigerators, and because it's really about space. And
Yes,
I
it
worked
is.
with a woman named Katie Martin out of Connecticut, and she said, once you've seen one food pantry, you've seen one food pantry. They're all different.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of them are, like mine's in a basement. It's 12 stairs down, 12 stairs up. So as you've done, we've implemented a senior day where we have seniors, and we've worked with the local high school to help the clients back up the stairs. But back to not having a store, we don't have a thrift store anymore. Now we're just fully food. It's just really for, but we have expanded. So we're doing backpacks now. Thank you to a local, the Kindness Coalition. They give us backpacks. We do a diaper club every month. People can come in and get diapers and wipes, which is really important because that's not, I think WIC covers that, but not SNAP. And there's a lot of sort of people that fall through the cracks, and diapers are so expensive.
They are.
Baby food. We work directly with Target and Trader Joe's. Those are our big, and of course the Worcester County Food Bank.
Yes.
But Trader Joe's is one of our really big supporters, and they're just fantastic with the amount of food we get. And same with Target, Westboro Target actually.
Yes.
We get a pick up there. So, it's amazing. Shrewsbury's such a wonderful town. We're 38,000 strong. It's a big, wonderful town, but there is need. We're only scratching the surface, I think, a little bit too. I do worry that we're missing some people. So this type of show, this type of event, I think helps bring people in. Just today we have distribution on Mondays. We only actually have distribution one day a week. But a woman brought her neighbor, her 90-year-old neighbor, that had never known that we were existed. She now needs a little more assistance. The big thing, I'm sure like you do, you just make them feel very welcome. Because a lot of people get very stressed going into a food pantry. I never needed to do that. I never thought I'd need to do this. It's people will weep and you know, you just really, we call them clients or guests. It's never any of my volunteers. I let them know it's the old vernacular is feeding the poor. No, because
apologize for the grace of God. It could be any of us at any point in our life. And to that point, we did a lot of work during COVID at the state level. I was on the Governor's Food Security Task Force, and one of our things that we were doing was doing a lot of marketing to say to people, there's no stigma attached to it. There are people who have never in their life, pre-COVID, had to rely on it. That suddenly with what was happening with COVID, and especially with some of the wait times to get unemployment or finding themselves stretched, but also that you're not boxing someone else out if you take SNAP or come into a food pantry and need some support. You're not taking from somebody else. Like it is there for you too.
Well, and that's really an interesting point because the food is there. Yes. Really, there is food. I mean, sometimes we have shortages on certain things.
Sure.
But the food is available. It really is getting the food. It's that last mile they talk about. Yeah. So even with services, you can get people to walk up and say, I need something, but it's that last mile to get them to go or get them to come. So your ideas are really, this is something I've wanted to implement with the list of things that people can tick off and you can help. So this is, even this, this conversation is helpful.
Yes. And that's one of the things that we've seen as well. It's people coming through the doors for services. It's, there is a stigma, of people wanting mental health or social services. Right. So getting through the door is where the issue is. They'll reach out or we'll reach out to them, but getting them to actually show up, because then you don't know who's looking at you. You don't know what people are thinking. And so one of the things that we're definitely trying to do is remove the stigma from mental health and social services, and especially post-COVID era, where we haven't even seen yet the full effects of COVID on our communities. And the need is there. The need is great and the need is there. It's just for us to find a way to educate people about removing that stigma.
Yeah, and it's going through in sort of all human service organizations. We're seeing some of the highest levels of domestic violence recorded right now. But to your earlier point, several years ago, back when actually Terry Cassidy was executive director of SYFS, we did a campaign called I Am SYFS. And it basically, we used people in town, people you would know and people you wouldn't know, to say, I am SYFS. I've had to use the services, just to reduce and take away that, this is open to everyone. Every part of these organizations is open to everyone in the community. And certainly, as we spoke earlier, we have a number of people residing in our communities right now who have had to access the emergency shelter situation, many of whom are coming here with deep trauma from a lot of people from Haiti who are escaping just a horror show, but also just people in our communities who can no longer afford housing because housing costs are. And so there isn't one magic mold of what a person looks like who needs to access services. Absolutely. It truly is representative of all our community. And one of the things I know, Dot, you have done in Westboro for years, you've taken some of the proceeds in the past and used them for farmers markets coupons. And tell us a little bit about that.
This is a $10 coupon that is given to every client depending upon how long they want to keep it. There is an expiration date, but some of them collect them.
Sure.
And then go to either Barbarians or Harvey's or Nurse Farms and stock up on fresh vegetables. And the other one we started recently, we are giving vouchers to support some of our small businesses in town.
Smart.
That support us as well.
Awesome.
Like this one is for Yeoman's Ice Cream. And however large your family is, depends on how many gift vouchers you get. And the clients, I mean, we've done them for South Street Diner, for New York Pie, and they're all within town, where even our experienced clients,
yes, that is the new wording,
can walk to and feel that, oh, this is good.
Yes.
This is good. And what we do, Polly Thayer checks on these every week.
Yeah.
How many coupons did you get? And she gives them a check to reimburse them for that.
That's great.
And they're very
What
grateful.
a great idea.
They're very grateful, saying this has helped.
Yeah.
We are getting so many new clients, and it allows our citizenry to see that there are other things available.
Sure.
Other
Right.
things available.
Oh, it's really
And
smart.
thanks to this tournament, that's what started
Oh,
the
Well, I love the
fresh
connection.
vegetable.
I love the fact that people are getting something that they can also take and use themselves. And so somehow, I'm sorry, we are out of time. Because we could talk all day.
You get the sign from
But
this
really
camera.
just everyone here is here because of the amazing work that you all do in your organization. So just thank you for everything that you're doing. And we look forward to being back together next year for our 10th annual, and hope to be around this table with all of you and talking about what's happened in the last year. And I especially want to thank Beth Cassavant for being the tournament director and all of her work on everything. I also want to acknowledge the rest of the host committee. And especially my good friend and photographer of the day, Melissa Foz, who is going to be out on the course with me as we attempt to track down every single foursome out there for a picture. Wow. Always fun getting 36 groups of mostly men together for shots. It's a challenge, but it's a lot of fun. So stay tuned for a few pictures from today, and then I'm going to introduce you to my new legislative aide. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
thank you.
And thank you for your support.
Welcome, Andre.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So I'm sitting here with a brand new member of the team, Carrie Shea. Welcome, Carrie. I'm so pleased to have you as my legislative aide. And you are a Shrewsbury resident. So you know all things Shrewsbury, and you're getting to know all things Westboro.
Yeah, I've lived in Shrewsbury my whole life. I went to UMass Amherst. I got my master's in public policy administration there. I've worked in government before, and so far I'm really enjoying the job, getting to learn more about the district, and getting to learn a lot.
That's great. Well, you're doing a fantastic job, and you're also a town meeting member. You ran in this past election cycle, and you won in Precinct 7, which isn't easy to do. That's always a competitive precinct.
Actually, I won in Precinct 8, but...
8? Okay. So I thought it was... We held signs at Spring Street. That's why I'm
That's the
thinking
same.
7 in my head. Yes.
It was the same polling station, but yeah, I won in Precinct 8. It was a second highest vote getter, which...
There you go. Good for you. First time out running. That's a pretty amazing statistic.
Yeah, and enjoyed the first town meeting. Looking forward to many other town meetings in the future.
That's great. Well, I'm so thrilled to have you as part of the team, and I think it's always Sophia Flionis, who you took over for, had also been from Shrewsbury, and I think it really helps, you know, to have an understanding of not only the town of Shrewsbury, but the region in general. And you had a lot to do the last couple of weeks. You were at the farmers markets in both Shrewsbury and Westboro to give citations, and we enjoyed being on Saturday at Cold Harbor Brewing. That was fun. But I think it's a great opportunity to get to know Westboro and the folks there a little bit more. And certainly our office works extremely close with Senator Moore's office and with Rep. Kate Donahue's office that we share Westboro with. So welcome to the team. Thank you for being here today. And we're going to have a great, hopefully, couple of years ahead of us together. So thank you for joining me.
And thank you for having me as part of your office.
Wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Conversations with Hannah. I look forward to speaking with you in the future. And as always, please reach out to me whenever either I or Carrie can be helpful in our office. Thanks so much.